meets the ISO ranking in train on Monday. Can you give us an update if he's going to play?
I don't know as yet, but we haven't actually trained, so we don't get a chance to train this week, unfortunately. We'll do a captain's run tomorrow, which we'd like to see him get involved in, but we'll just see how he's pulling up. He got a knock to the calf, and it's an area that there's some bleeding there. There's no muscle damage, but it's one we've just got to be mindful of. You know, the speeds he ggets up to and the pressure he puts on that calf. The last thing we want is to lose him for a month or so.
So there is a bit of doubt around him Thursday night.
At the moment, yes, yeah, but he's pretty confident. And I think with it, you know, being a huge weekend of footy and a big Thursday night game, Isaac enjoys a big stage, so he's pushing and he really wants to play. It'll be a joint decision. You know, we put some faith in him to make the right decision, but we may have to step in if need be. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
You missed a fair bit of time last year with injury. Do you factor that in, just trying to manage him so you can get the most out of him over the whole season?
Yeah, as I said, we don't want this to turn into 4 week or month or 2 months. And the soft tissue stuff, you know, when you have bleeding around the calf, there is a danger that you can cause more issues. But so it will almost be a game day decision, but we'll get some more info tomorrow.
How hard is it to not be tempted into playing him, even though obviously it's such a big game? Yeah,
well, on that one we have to look a little bit more long term. Everything we're doing at the moment is focusing on the now, but you've got to be smart in that space. So we'll do whatever we can to try and make the right decision around that. We know how much, you know, he means to our team, what he's doing at the moment with his footy. He's playing, you know, some superb footy, especially in a round stoppage for us. So, but we got some other guys ready to step up if need be. But yeah, I'd love to see him out there.
Did you rest Crouch last week with an eye to playing Thursday?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and so that gave him a slightly longer break, and he's pulled up quite well from that. So again, another decision that we'll make tomorrow. We've still got a squad at the moment, our players around about 28 that we haven't necessarily locked in our 23 as yet. We'll get a feel how we're going tomorrow.
There are a few raised eyebrows with the Murphy selection from some in the media and a few fans. What is it you see in him that maybe isn't so obvious?
Oh, the same thing his teammates do. You know, there's roles that you don't see. I've mentioned it a number of times. You don't see it in the TV screen. Sometimes you may not see it at the ground, but there's different things that Lockie brings to our group that his teammates definitely appreciate. And it's an area we keep looking at. What is the balance of our side? You know, guys who bring strengths in some areas, and you know, when it comes to a talent, or strengths in other areas when it comes to team, we're always trying to balance that.
Tex says he won't rest. Is that the decision?
He refuses to rest. He's in really good nick at the moment, as in physically he feels great. I think last year was an issue around his back, which, you know, tightened up, and during the week he was struggling. This year he feels fantastic. He's pulling up well. There's the odd contest in his game, and we sat down, had a look, and had a laugh through a couple where there are going to be challenges. And when, you know, super athletes playing alongside him, you know, that can make anyone look a little slower. But he makes up for that with what he brings, with his talent, with what he does from a leadership point of view in our forward line. And, you know, he's been an integral part of our performances in the first month.
He was saying as well that Riley Thilthorpe has made him a better teammate and sort of lifted his standards as well. Can you talk about, I guess, the chemistry with Fogarty as well, and those three, and how well they're working together and how they, I guess, drive each other's standards?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because for a period of time when Riley first started, Tex was making Riley a better footballer and probably challenging him in different areas about, you know, what he'd need to do. I think there was a clear understanding of how hard it is to be a key position player, especially forward of the ball, in your first year or two. You get the best defenders come out and, you know, punch you in the back of the head. And I think Tex did a lot of work with Riley. So it's nice to see that maybe that's flipped a little, that Tex is actually getting something back, because Riley's in some really rare form. His confidence levels are through the roof. You know, at the end of the game last week, I know we'll go there with some of the banter. That was just two competitors going at it. Riley doesn't like losing. And Mac Andrews, he's a real competitor. So it's part of the game. It's part of the energy that you see at the footy. And We hope Riley can stay in that space and just keep believing in himself because I think he's still got a lot more upside.
Matt started on Tex and then went to Riley because Riley's kind of so dominant. Do you feel like that's what's going to happen now with teams that are going to go to Riley, like they see him as now the focal point of the Crows forward line?
Well, our hope from a team point of view is that we're able to get that sort of balance right throughout the ground. It's the same in the midfield. If a player like Jordan Dawson's playing at a high level and needs some attention, does that release Jake Saligo and give him a little bit more opportunity? As you mentioned in the forward line, that would be great. The key to that is we've got to be playing good footy as a team for that to happen. We've got to give our guys enough opportunities forward of the ball where they can, I guess, dominate a game. And on the weekend, we didn't quite get that to the level we needed. I thought we'd played probably some of our best footy for 3 weeks, and then on the weekend we dropped off a little, and that was enough for our opposition, who were better than us in a lot of areas, to take the 4 points.
You kind of mentioned it before with the Riley and Matt kind of incident in the end. I mean, I know you said you liked to see it from Riley because he's so competitive, but I mean, after the final siren, was a little bit, was there any sour taste given the kind of happened after the game was over?
No, not.
Happy that they've totally moved on from the controversy of the last quarter.
Have we, or am I happy?
You're happy that they?
Oh, of course.
The team has moved on
we.
its focus.
It was a focus as we went into the rooms. There's always a frustration there. One, we've lost a game of footy that we felt like we could have won. 2, there's a controversy in the way it played out, is what it is, but we have to move on. We talked about it in the locker room and said, okay, it's not going to change the result. I don't think I've ever seen the AFL come out and say, no, they can have the 4 points.
What? Does it really mean anything, them saying, oh yeah, we got it wrong? It's pretty cold comfort, isn't it?
No, and again, my job's to coach our footy team, so you probably know a lot more than me on what's played out there. I meet with the people I need to meet with post-game from within our 4 walls, and we talk through, okay, where to from here. And the advice to me is let's go and coach the team to beat Geelong. And so that's what I've done for the last 2 or 3 days. We move on pretty quickly as a playing group and a coaching group when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Some teams may use that decision as a motivation. Do you see it? I guess it would have been too much of a distraction.
Look, it's one that we may use longer term down the track as motivation in some way or another, but it's definitely not. It's not front of mind. It's not something that we need to waste energy on. I know there's a lot of commentary around it externally, but there's none inside the walls. We move on real fast and you do it after wins as well. Our ability to just butter up. No, we've got to be better again because each week gets harder. That's the space we have to stay in, and we've probably learnt some good lessons in that over the last 3 or 4 years. Just our ability to stay in the moment.
Part of coaching the team will be a plan for Tommy Stewart. It's been a hard one for every club, but certainly you guys. What's going to be the plan there this week? Yeah,
he's one of the best, if not in the game, at what he does, and he's got a team around him too that are so experienced, and they know how to support him in what he does so well. So we've got a few plans in place. Most of it team, most of it the key to us playing as a unit and staying connected. But we understand he's going to have his moments in games. There's certain players that they're very hard to stop. I'm pretty sure he's going to touch the ball a few times in a game. I'm not sure he's been through without any, but yeah, he's a super player and one we're going to show a lot of respect to.
Is that the same with Jeremy Cameron? I think last time down at Geelong, he really made life hard for Nick Murray, who's not playing. Do you have someone in mind for him, or is it team, as you said, with Tom?
Yeah, team again. It's always about team, but we've got some stuff in mind as far as who we'd prefer to have as a matchup. And again, another player who's at the top of his game and one of the best in the position and one of the biggest challenges you have. And that's why Geelong is such a respected side, because it's everywhere. It's Dangerfield and it's on ball. Their on-ball group are, so experienced, hard, they've got leg speed. So it's why Geelong have been up the top of the ladder for so long and why the rest of the teams respect them.
Thoughts on Falk's semi-permanent tattoo or whatever that
Loved it. Yeah, loved it. I can't say whether it's real or not. I haven't had a good look. I hope it's not.
How much cash would you need to get a tattoo like that?
Would I get one?
Yeah.
I've already got one on my full back. No, I haven't got any tattoos and probably won't. I don't think I'll ever do
Not
that.
even for money?
How much are we talking?
How much, I don't know how much you
There's always a price.
$50,000.
There's always a price, yeah.
Do you reckon brands can like see that and go to players, give, to actually bypass clubs or something, like see it as a different way to, promote
Oh,
stuff?
you're going down an area that's not my expertise. No.
You got the first game to gather around again. How important is it to, I guess, with all the home fans, but the national stage, it's all eyes are on that for the whole country. How special is that opportunity for the club?
Yeah, we love the fact that we've been blessed with that opportunity the last few years, and I know our guys enjoy it. And I think when you get off the plane coming into Adelaide at the moment, which you would have experienced, there's a bit of a vibe around the joint. It's all about footy this weekend. Even the local footy stops so that everyone can get out and watch, teams from interstate as well as come out and watch the two teams from here. So to kick it all off, it's been a huge night each Thursday that we've been able to do that. So we know what to expect. We've got that luxury of being there before, but we know we've got a massive, massive challenge this time.
Going to use the weekend to do a little bit of list recruitment on the side, a bit of wooing.
No, I think the weekend set up probably get a bit of footy in while they're over here and have a look. Some of that we look at a bit of opposition, but I'll also spend some time with the family. Got a bit of gardening to do.